Hey there, everyone. Today we're diving into something a lot of you have been asking about. Uh,
Core skills for work.
Core skills for work, exactly.
Yes.
And we've got a framework here that was developed in Australia
Yeah, back in 2013.
back in 2013. And while it might seem a bit down under, the ideas are totally relevant no matter where you are in the world.
Oh, absolutely globally relevant. Yeah.
Especially for our listeners,
Yeah.
who are always looking to level up.
Always trying to get better.
So, what I think is so interesting about this framework is it's not just a list of skills.
No, it's not a check.
It really helps you understand,
It's more like a roadmap.
yeah,
It helps you understand why these skills matter
yeah.
and how they connect to thrive in any kind of work you do.
Okay, so roadmap to where?
Yeah.
What are these core skills for work anyway?
Think of them as the secret sauce beyond just like technical know-how.
Okay,
They're the non-technical skills,
okay.
those interpersonal and problem-solving abilities
Mm.
that really complement your existing expertise,
So not just knowing how to do the job, but
right?
how to navigate
The whole work ecosystem.
the whole work ecosystem around it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the framework really emphasizes that context is key.
okay.
These skills aren't applied in a vacuum.
Uh-huh.
How you use them depends on your specific work environment
Okay.
and the stage of your career you're at.
All right, so that makes sense, but I'm already feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Okay.
The framework mentions 3 skill clusters,
Yeah.
each with a bunch of skill areas underneath, 10 in total.
Yeah.
Where do I even begin?
Don't worry.
Okay.
You don't need to be a master of all 10 at once.
Okay, good.
It's about understanding the big picture first,
Okay.
those 3 skill clusters, and then focusing on the specific areas that are most relevant to you.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yeah.
Can you just give me a super quick rundown of those 3 skill clusters?
Sure.
Just so I have a sense of the landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. The first cluster is all about navigate the world of work.
Okay.
It covers things like managing your career,
Oh.
understanding workplace culture,
Mm-hmm.
and even thinking about your own well-being at work.
That first cluster sounds particularly relevant.
It's great.
With so many people reevaluating their relationship with work these days,
Yeah.
it's not just about climbing the ladder anymore, right?
Where you're spot on. Think of traditional career paths.
Right.
Climbing a ladder.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's more like navigating a jungle gym.
Oh, I like that.
You can move sideways,
Yeah.
jump to different areas,
Uh,
even create your own path.
yeah, much more
Much more dynamic.
dynamic,
Yeah.
flexible,
Very flexible,
which definitely reflects the current work landscape.
for sure.
What about the other 2?
That the second cluster is interact and work with others.
Okay.
It's about communication,
Hmm.
teamwork, understanding different perspectives,
Yeah.
and even dealing with conflict constructively.
So not just being nice, but
It's about understanding
understanding the dynamics.
a dynamic of how people work together effectively.
Exactly.
Yes. And the final cluster is get the work done,
Okay.
which focuses on planning,
Uh-huh.
problem solving,
Yeah.
using technology,
Mm-hmm.
and even embracing innovation.
Innovation. Isn't that just for tech geniuses?
Not at all.
Okay.
Innovation is simply finding new and better ways to do things,
Okay.
whether it's streamlining your workflow or coming up with a more efficient process at work.
All right. So not inventing the next iPhone,
Right.
but small innovations.
Exactly. Innovation can be small.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a skill that you can develop and apply in any context.
Okay. That makes it feel much more approachable.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got these 3 main clusters, but what about the individual skill areas within each of those?
Right.
How deep do I need to go with those?
That's where the framework gets really interesting.
Okay.
It breaks down each skill area into 5 stages of development.
Okay.
Novice, advanced beginner,
Okay.
capable proficient,
Okay.
and expert.
Gotcha. So it's not about being perfect in everything,
No.
but recognizing where you are on that spectrum
Right.
and then focusing on
Continuous growth.
continuous growth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. And you might be at different stages for different skills.
That makes sense.
You could be a capable communicator, but a novice when it comes to managing your work-life balance.
Right. Or I bet context plays a role here too.
Huge role.
Even if you're generally skilled in a certain area,
Yeah.
a new job or a new project might require you to step back a level as you adjust.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That happened to me when I switched roles a while back.
Really?
I had to reevaluate my skills in a new context and adjust my approach accordingly.
Wow.
It was a humbling but very valuable experience.
Yeah, I can imagine that that anecdote really highlights why these skills are so crucial for navigating today's like ever-changing work world. They're
Mhm.
not just like static boxes to tick off.
Yeah.
They're dynamic tools
Dynamic.
that evolve with us throughout our careers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting a job.
Yeah.
It's about thriving in any kind of work you do.
Okay. So we know what these core skills are
Right.
and that they need to be adaptable.
Yes.
But why are they so crucial for success?
Yeah.
What's the big payoff for developing them?
It's about more than just landing a job.
Okay.
It's about navigating the complexities of the modern work world
Mhm.
and contributing meaningfully
Mm-hmm.
to whatever you choose to do.
So even if I'm not fresh out of college, these skills are still relevant.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
More important than ever, actually.
Okay, so it's not too late to level up.
Never too late.
Okay, good. I like that.
These skills are your secret weapon
Oh, secret weapons. I like that.
for adaptability, resilience, and continuous learning.
Okay.
They help you embrace new challenges, stay relevant in your field, and navigate the twists and turns of your career.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
You said these skills are transferable. Does that mean they apply beyond a traditional, like, 9 to 5?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Think about recognizing and utilizing diverse perspectives.
Okay.
That's just as relevant in a classroom discussion as it is in a boardroom meeting.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
So these skills can help us build stronger relationships,
Mhm.
work more effectively in teams,
Yes.
just navigate the complexities of human interaction, like in general.
Exactly. And that's what makes this framework so universally valuable.
Yeah.
It provides a foundation for success, not just in our professional lives,
Uh-huh.
but in all aspects of our lives.
I love that. This is all incredibly insightful, but I think it's time to make these concepts less abstract and actually like deep dive into a few specific skill areas
Right.
to see how they play out in real life.
Sounds good to me. Where should we start?
Well, I'm particularly interested in skill area 1A, manage career and work life.
Okay.
You know, the very definition of a career seems to be evolving.
Yep.
And it's not just about climbing the corporate ladder anymore.
Absolutely. Traditional notions of a linear career path
Yeah.
are becoming increasingly outdated.
Yeah.
It's less about climbing that ladder and more about,
Yeah, what does navigating a career look like to you these days?
for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's about having more autonomy,
Okay.
choosing how, when, and where to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing that our work life isn't a separate compartment
Right.
from our overall life, but rather an integrated part of it.
Yeah.
I think this skill area will resonate with our listener.
Yeah, I think so too,
Yeah.
for sure.
The framework highlights this by emphasizing the importance of broadening your areas of interest
Okay.
and adapting your expertise to diverse contexts.
That aligns perfectly with the mindset of lifelong learning, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not about staying stuck in one lane,
Wow.
but rather embracing new possibilities
Yes.
and adapting our skills to fit different situations.
Yep, you got this skill area is all about proactive career management,
Mm.
recognizing that work is a dynamic and evolving aspect of our lives,
Mm.
not a static entity.
Yeah.
It's about crafting a career that aligns with your values and aspirations
Mhm.
rather than simply following a predetermined path.
Okay, now let's move on to something that I know a lot of people struggle with.
Right.
Skill area 2B, connect and work with others.
Okay.
Let's be real. Teamwork can be challenging.
Oh, yeah.
How does this skill go beyond just being nice?
It's about understanding group dynamics,
Okay.
building genuine rapport,
Mm-hmm.
and navigating those tricky communication styles.
Right. Because,
Think about it. You might be working with
yeah,
introverts and extroverts, people who thrive on structure and those who crave flexibility.
right.
This skill helps you recognize and appreciate those differences.
So it's about leveraging those differences for the good of the team.
Yes.
Not just trying to like smooth them over.
Right.
But how do you actually do that? Like,
Yeah.
what does skilled collaboration look like in action?
Let me give you an example from the proficient stage.
Okay.
The framework describes it as being able to anticipate potential difficulties that might arise in a work group or team and take preemptive action to prevent or minimize these.
So it's about having that awareness of potential issues
Right.
and addressing them before they blow up.
Precisely. Yeah. Skilled collaborators can sense the team's dynamics,
Oh, wow.
understand individual personalities and motivations,
Yeah.
and steer everyone towards success. It's like having a sixth sense for teamwork.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
That level of awareness could make a huge difference in any team's performance.
absolutely.
Now, for our last deep dive into a specific skill area, let's tackle something that might seem a little intimidating.
Okay.
Skill area third, create and innovate.
Right.
I have to admit, I always associate innovation with like tech companies and big inventions,
Right.
not my everyday work.
That's a common misconception.
Okay.
Innovation is relevant in every field,
Okay.
at every level.
Oh.
It's about finding new and better ways to do things,
Okay.
even in small, everyday tasks.
Right.
Remember, innovation isn't always about groundbreaking inventions.
Okay.
It can be about those incremental improvements that make a real difference in your work.
Okay, that makes me feel much better.
Good.
Instead of inventing the next iPhone, maybe I'm just finding a more efficient way to organize my files.
Exactly.
Or streamlining a process at work.
Right.
I can get behind that kind of innovation.
Exactly. It all starts with challenging assumptions,
Okay, cool.
questioning the status quo, and playing with possibilities.
Yeah, I like that.
That playful, curious approach is something our listener embodies, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And this ties back to the idea of lifelong learning, always seeking new ways to improve and grow.
Exactly.
So it's exciting to see how innovation fits into that larger framework
It does.
of personal and professional development.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
This framework empowers us to see that innovation isn't something reserved for a select few.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill anyone can cultivate and apply in any context.
This deep dive is already packed with insights.
It is.
But I think it's time to shift gears and look at the factors that influence how well we use these skills.
Okay.
It's one thing to have the tools, but what helps or hinders us from putting them into practice?
That's a great transition.
Yeah.
It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal,
Okay.
but needing the right tools and techniques to bring it all together.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So what are these influencing factors,
Okay.
and how do they impact our skill development?
These factors act as both catalysts and potential roadblocks
Gotcha.
to our skill development and application. Let's start with one that's particularly relevant to your learning style, the nature and degree of support.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay. The framework highlights that different stages of skill development require different kinds of support.
Okay.
A novice might need clear instructions and close guidance,
Uh-huh.
while an expert might benefit from challenging projects and opportunities for mentorship.
Okay.
It's all about tailoring the support
Mm.
to the individual's needs and their current skill level.
That makes perfect sense. It's like providing training wheels for someone learning to ride a bike.
Exactly.
You wouldn't expect them to jump straight onto a mountain bike
Right.
without initial support.
Right. And as their skills progress,
Yeah.
you gradually remove those supports
Yeah,
and provide them with more autonomy and challenges to help them grow.
Speaking of autonomy,
Yes.
I'm curious about that one as well.
Okay.
It seems very closely tied to like our natural desire to learn and explore.
It is.
And I bet our listener,
Yeah.
who's always eager to understand the why behind things,
Yes.
would agree.
You're right on the mark.
Yeah.
The framework emphasizes that autonomy fosters motivation and skill growth.
Okay.
It's about giving individuals the freedom to make decisions,
Uh-huh.
take ownership of their work,
Mm-hmm.
and learn from their experiences.
That makes me think about how too much structure or micromanagement can actually hinder skill development.
Heck yeah.
It's like trying to learn to swim with floaties on all the time.
Yes.
You never really get the chance to test your own abilities
Right.
and figure things out on your own.
Precisely. When we're constantly told what to do and how to do it,
Yeah.
we missed out on those crucial opportunities
Yeah.
for experimentation,
Uh-huh.
problem solving,
Yeah.
and independent thinking.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between guidance and freedom, right?
Exactly.
Knowing when to offer support and when to step back
Right.
and let someone flourish on their own.
It's a delicate balance
Yeah.
that requires awareness of the individual's skill level,
Mm-hmm.
their personality,
Yeah.
and the specific demands of the task.
Yeah.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Now let's talk about a factor that I think is incredibly important,
Okay.
especially in today's world.
Right.
Self-belief and resilience.
The cornerstones of personal growth.
Yeah.
They really are essential for navigating the ups and downs
For sure.
of the modern work world.
We all face setbacks and challenges
We do.
in our work and our lives.
Yeah.
And I think having a strong sense of self-belief
It's so helpful.
and the ability to bounce back from those setbacks is crucial for long-term success.
Couldn't agree more. They fuel our motivation, willingness to take risks,
Yeah.
and ability to learn from mistakes.
So important.
Yeah, it impacts how we empathize with others,
Mm-hmm.
manage stress,
Uh-huh.
and navigate those tricky workplace dynamics.
Yeah. It's really about developing a growth mindset and
Yes.
recognizing that setbacks are opportunities for learning and growth.
Absolutely.
This is all so relatable.
It is.
Do you have a personal anecdote that illustrates the power of self-belief and resilience?
Sure.
A time when you faced a challenge and had to tap into those inner resources?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Early in my career, I was tasked with a project that was way outside my comfort zone.
Oh,
I
okay.
felt overwhelmed
Yeah,
and doubted my ability to succeed,
I can relate to that.
but I took a deep breath,
Mm.
reminded myself of my past achievement,
Mm.
and broke the project down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
I even sought guidance from mentors
Good.
and really focused on embracing the learning process.
Good for you.
Eventually, I not only completed the project,
Wow.
but gained valuable skills and a newfound belief in myself.
That's a really inspiring story.
Thank
It highlights how self-belief isn't something we're born with,
No,
but something we cultivate through experience,
through challenge
through challenge.
and learning to trust ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes. And resilience is the muscle that allows us to bounce back from those inevitable setbacks
Yeah.
and keep moving forward even when things get tough.
For sure.
It's all about embracing challenges as opportunities for learning.
Before we wrap up our discussion of influencing factors,
Okay.
let's touch on one that's often overlooked, but incredibly important: external factors.
Yes. The unpredictable elements of life.
Right.
They can throw even the best laid plans off course.
We don't live in a vacuum.
We don't.
And things like our health, family situations, and even the overall economy
Yeah.
can impact our work performance, things we can't always control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The framework acknowledges that external factors play a significant role in our ability to thrive in the work world.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that these factors are often outside our control,
Okay.
but we can develop strategies to mitigate their impact and build support systems to help us navigate those turbulent times.
So it's about being realistic
Yes,
and recognizing that we're all human.
we are.
Life throws curveballs,
It does.
and it's about how we respond to them that really matters.
Precisely. It's about building resilience, fostering a strong support network,
Yeah.
and developing healthy coping mechanisms to navigate those inevitable challenges.
That's where having strong self-belief and resilience can really make a difference.
Huge difference.
I think we've covered a lot of ground with these influencing factors.
I think so too.
It's clear that they play a crucial role in shaping our skill development and application. But before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on one last skill area that's particularly relevant to our modern world. Skill Area 3E, work in a digital world.
The ever-evolving landscape of digital tools and technologies.
Right.
Definitely a crucial skill set for anyone navigating the modern workplace.
It seems like every day there's a new app, a new platform, a new way of doing things online.
Doesn't it?
How do we even keep
No.
up, let alone master this skill?
That's a lot.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming.
You're not alone in feeling that way.
Okay.
This skill is all about embracing the digital world as an integral part of work,
Okay.
rather than something separate or intimidating.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how to use digital technologies effectively, ethically, and safely to enhance our work and connect with others.
So it's not just about knowing how to use like specific software or apps, but
Right.
having a broader understanding of like the digital landscape.
Exactly. It's about developing digital literacy,
Okay.
critical thinking skills,
Yeah.
and an awareness of both the opportunities and the potential pitfalls
Yeah.
of working in a digital world.
Can you give me an example of what this might look like in practice?
Imagine you're working on a collaborative project
Okay.
with colleagues located all over the world. This skill would involve not only knowing how to use tools like video conferencing and cloud-based document sharing,
Right.
but also understanding how to communicate effectively across time zones,
Yeah.
cultural differences, and varying levels of digital literacy.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It highlights how the skill goes beyond mere technical proficiency
It does.
and requires a deeper understanding of digital communication collaboration and even cultural sensitivity.
Get it.
It's about recognizing that the digital world is not just a set of tools, but a complex social environment
It is.
with its own unique norms and challenges.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
It's about developing digital fluency, a comfort and competence in navigating the digital world, and using it to enhance our work and connect with others in meaningful ways.
This is all incredibly insightful.
Good.
We've covered a lot of ground with this skill area. It's clear that it's not just about keeping up with the latest gadgets,
No.
but about developing a deeper understanding of the digital world
Right.
and its implications for the future of work.
I agree. It's been a fascinating exploration of the skills that will shape how we work, connect, and collaborate
Mm-hmm.
in an increasingly digital world.
Absolutely. Wow. This has been eye-opening already.
Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about the what and the WHY of these core skills for work, but I'm curious, how do we actually start putting this framework into action?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't
It
it?
feels like a lot to process.
It is a lot. It's one thing to understand the framework,
Yeah.
but the real magic happens when you start applying it to your own life and work.
So how do we bridge that gap between like theory and practice?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for how to make this framework like actionable? Especially for someone like our listener, who's always eager to learn and grow.
Yeah, it's all about reflection and self-awareness. The first step is to identify which skill clusters and skill areas resonate most with you and your current goals.
So taking that big picture view we talked about earlier,
Right.
and then zooming in on the areas that feel most relevant like right now.
Exactly. Once you've identified those key areas,
Right.
take some time to reflect on your current skill level.
Okay.
Where do you feel confident and competent?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see opportunities for growth?
That makes sense. It's like taking inventory of your skills toolkit
Yeah,
and seeing which tools need sharpening or upgrading.
perfect analogy.
All right, so we've identified our key areas
Okay,
and we've assessed our current skill level.
right.
What's next?
Okay, so this is where the performance features within each skill area become incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Think of them as mini roadmaps
Yeah.
that outline specific behaviors and actions
Gotcha.
associated with each stage of development.
Okay. So instead of just saying, like, I need to be better at communicating,
Right.
you're looking at specific actions.
Exactly.
Like actively listening to understand different perspectives.
Yes.
Or effectively conveying your ideas in a group setting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By focusing on these specific behaviors, you can create a targeted action plan
Okay.
for skill development.
Okay. That feels much more manageable.
Yes,
Instead of this big abstract goal, you're breaking it down into smaller, concrete steps.
precisely.
Mm.
And don't be afraid to experiment
Okay.
and try different approaches. Remember, skill development is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
There will be bumps along the way, but that's all part of the learning process.
And this is where those influencing factors we talked about earlier come into play, right?
For sure.
Things like
Mhm.
support autonomy, self-belief, and even external factors
All of those.
can impact our progress.
Absolutely. It's important to be aware of those factors
Yeah.
and how they might be influencing your skill development journey. For example, if you're feeling stuck in a particular area,
Uh-huh.
ask yourself if you have the right support systems in place.
Okay.
Do you have mentors or colleagues you can turn to for guidance?
Or maybe you need more autonomy to experiment and try new things.
Possibly.
I can see how that would tie back to our earlier conversation
Yeah.
about the importance of freedom and flexibility in the modern workplace.
Exactly. It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And don't forget the power of self-belief and resilience.
Yeah. Those are so important.
Believing in your ability to grow and learn
Yeah,
is essential for overcoming those inevitable challenges.
for sure. I'm curious, how does self-belief actually manifest in skill development? Does it impact the way we approach learning new things?
Yes.
Or how we respond to feedback?
It affects everything. Think about it.
Okay.
When you believe in yourself, you're more likely to take risks,
Yeah.
embrace challenges,
Uh-huh.
and persevere even when things get tough. You're also more open to feedback, seeing it as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack.
So self-belief is almost like a foundation
Right.
for all the other skills. It
Yeah.
gives us the confidence and resilience to keep pushing forward even when we encounter obstacles.
Got it.
Yeah.
And remember, self-belief is something you can cultivate over time.
Okay.
It's not about being arrogant or overconfident,
Right.
but about developing a healthy sense of trust in your own abilities and potential.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
And it's something our listener, always eager to learn and grow,
Yeah.
will definitely take to heart.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this discussion on putting the framework into action,
Okay.
I want to circle back to the idea of context.
All right.
We've talked about how important it is,
Yes.
but how do we actually account for context when we're developing these skills?
That's a great question. Context is multifaceted.
Okay.
It's about your specific work environment,
Yeah.
the industry you're in, the team you're working with,
Yeah.
even your own personal circumstances.
So the way we apply these skills will vary depending on all these different factors.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Okay.
Let's take communication as an example.
Sure.
The way you communicate in a fast-paced startup environment might be very different from how you communicate in a large hierarchical organization.
Right. Totally different.
Totally different, yeah.
What works in one context might totally fall flat in another.
Exactly.
So how do we become more attuned to those subtle contextual cues?
It's all about observation, active listening,
Okay.
and being willing to adapt your approach as needed.
Hmm.
Pay attention to the communication styles of those around you.
Okay.
What works well? What doesn't?
Yeah.
Are there any unspoken norms or expectations?
So it's almost like becoming a cultural anthropologist
Yes.
within your own workplace.
Exactly.
Observing the behaviors and norms
Right.
to better understand how to navigate the social landscape.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's all about being attuned to your surroundings and adjusting your approach accordingly.
Okay.
And this is where those skills in the interact and work with others cluster
Yeah.
become so valuable. Being able to understand different perspectives, build rapport, and communicate effectively are crucial
Yeah.
for navigating any work context.
This has been so insightful.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
We have.
From understanding the framework
Right.
to identifying key areas for growth
Yes.
and putting those skills into action. I'm feeling much more equipped to tackle this whole core skills for work thing.
I'm glad to hear that.
I know.
Remember, it's not about mastering every single skill,
Right.
but rather about focusing on those that are most relevant to your unique context and goals.
Yeah.
And don't forget those influencing factors.
Right.
Having the right support systems, a sense of autonomy, and a healthy dose of self-belief can make all the difference in your development journey.
This has been such a valuable conversation.
It has.
But before we move on, I want to touch on something specific to our listeners' situation. They mentioned that they're feeling a bit stuck in their current role
Right.
and are considering making a career change.
Big decision.
Do you have any advice for someone in that position,
I do.
especially through the lens of this core skills for work framework?
That's a great question, and it's something that many people experience at some point in their careers. Feeling stuck can be a sign that it's time to reevaluate your goals, skills, and aspirations.
So how can this framework help someone navigate that process of self-discovery and career transition?
Well, first, I'd encourage them to revisit those 3 skill clusters and 10 skill areas.
Okay.
Think about which skills they enjoy using most, which ones they excel at,
Yeah.
and which ones they'd like to develop further.
So using the framework as a tool for self-reflection
Yes.
and identifying potential career paths that align with their strengths and interests.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to think outside the box.
Yeah.
The framework highlights the transferable nature of these skills.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. So encourage them to consider how their existing skills might translate to different industries or roles.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about seeing those skills not as limitations, but as building blocks
Yes.
for a fulfilling and meaningful career, whatever that might look like.
Exactly.
But career transitions can be daunting.
They can be very daunting.
Any advice for overcoming those feelings of fear or uncertainty?
Remember those influencing factors we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
This is where self-belief and resilience become crucial.
Okay.
Embracing a growth mindset
Yeah.
and believing in your ability to adapt and learn new skills is essential for navigating any career transition.
And surrounding yourself with a supportive network
Absolutely.
of mentors, friends, and colleagues can also make a huge
A
difference.
huge difference. Having people to cheer you on,
Yeah.
offer guidance, and provide a sounding board
Yeah.
can make the journey feel much less daunting.
This has been so incredibly helpful.
Good. I'm glad.
I feel like we've given our listener a powerful toolkit
I think so too.
for not only navigating their current career, but also for embracing the possibilities of future growth and change.
I agree. Remember, this framework is all about empowering individuals to thrive in the world of work, no matter where their career journey takes them.
Wow. This deep dive has been a whirlwind of information.
It has been, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've gone beyond just listing skills and really dug into like why they matter and how they work in different situations.
Exactly. It's like we've handed you a treasure map
Yes.
for the world of work
a treasure map.
with all sorts of valuable insights along the way.
Absolutely.
And just like any good treasure map, this framework is full of details.
It is.
Each skill area is like its own rabbit hole of information,
Yes, it is.
just waiting to be explored.
So much to learn.
But I think even with this taste of the core skills for work framework,
Yeah.
you're already well on your way to success.
You are. I agree.
So, as we wrap up, I have one final thought for you to chew on. Which of these skills jumps out at you as most needing development in your current context,
Hmm,
and why?
that's a great question.
What's the biggest obstacle you see in leveling up in that area?
Yeah, that's a great question to consider. This framework can be your guide as you continue to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Each skill area is packed with those performance features we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Those specific actions that can help you pinpoint areas for growth
Yeah.
and create a roadmap for improvement.
I love that idea of a roadmap. It makes the whole process feel less overwhelming
Yes,
and more like an exciting journey of self-discovery.
exactly. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are resources, mentors, and communities out there to support you along the way.
So don't let this be the end of your exploration. Dive deeper into the core skills for work framework. Embrace that love of continuous learning and unlock your full potential in work and in life.
Well said. I agree with all of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep diving deep.